record right here. Okay. Sorry.
Mr. Black and his family, our teachers, families, and students. To everyone assembled here this afternoon, we say thank you for sharing in our excitement and for being a part of this ceremony to commemorate the opening of our new school. My prayer is that our school is blessed and that God be honored through our service, leadership, and love for our students and school community. Today we pray blessings for our teachers and for students to be inspired and grow academically and in character. I am thankful and humbled to lead the students and families in this community within this great district, Dallas ISD. To everyone assembled here, I say thank you and welcome.
Please stand.
We got that clue.
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, the Texas pledge.
With the Texas flag,
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas,
one
state under God, one and indivisible.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this joyous occasion. I am Pamela Greer, a fourth grade language arts teacher, reading and language arts teacher here at Albert C. Black, and I will be singing Lift Every Voice and Sing. If you know it, go ahead and sing along. If you don't, just mouth along with me. Just a second, I had to get the old hymn book out. All right. Thank you for standing. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good evening, everyone. Isn't this a beautiful occasion today? Let's go ahead and so this is the work that the Lord has done, and we're glad to see the goodness of the Lord and what He's doing here in our community. If you want to know what equity looks like, this is what equity looks like. When you voted for me, I promise you that we will have safe learning environments, equitable resource and quality programs, and true transparency and accountability. I promise that we will bring resources to our community and make sure that our kids have state-of-the-art facilities. This is a $45 plus, almost $50 million brand new building from the ground. We live in a community where we have been disproportionately disenfranchised, underfunded, ignored. People thought we couldn't get things done. But this is what happens when you work with the community and the community work with the trustee. We see things happening in District 5. I want to let you know, I've been on the school board for 6 years, and we've worked together to do tremendous things across District 5. We have brought over $400 million back to District 5 for our kids in education. The work doesn't stop. We have an awesome administration team here, an awesome principal, awesome kids. My granddaughter goes to this school.
All right.
And so we're excited to be here today. Listen, who could have thought when we took the seat in 2019 that we would be celebrating this moment right here? I want to thank our community for trusting me to serve you. I want to thank our principals who trusted me. Now, I'm telling you, I'm a little difficult to deal with at times. Because most of the time it's hard. But I fight so hard for equity. I fight so hard for our community. I fight so hard for our kids because I know what we deserve. And I told them, if you give us the resources, we can perform academically. Before I go on, if there are any members, any elected officials that are here, would you please stand? I want to honor you and thank you for coming today. Trustees. I saw Trustee Turner come in. He's somewhere, but I want to thank you for being here. Listen, it takes a board. This didn't just come by Trustee Johnson and working with the community only. It also comes with collaboration and relationship building. This is the work of our school board, not just Maxie Johnson. So can we put our hands together for our school board for voting? We work with our superintendent, Dr. Elizalde. This has been a long time coming. We work with Minister Dominique of Next Generation Action Network, and we've had lots of community meetings surrounding this project. And I got to tell you, it was difficult at times, but I'm thankful to our Chief of Bonds, Chief Alfred. I'm thankful to Nikita for their vision and for their tenacity and experience to weather through the storm and get things done. We get things done in our community. And I want to let you know that I serve you, but we make sure that we get things done for our kids and get things done for our parents. So we have a diamond in the hood.
That's all right.
And when we say hood, this is short for neighborhood. But Fruitdale is going to benefit from this. Our kids are going to benefit from this. And it was strategic now. We want to make sure that this brand new facility is connected and right behind the Boys and Girls Club. Why? Because we're going to build strong partnerships together. I want to thank the superintendent of Dallas ISD, Dr. Stephanie Elizalde. Prior to her leaving, she's coming in. Can we give her a hand as she's coming in? I need to let you know, this just wasn't my vision alone. She brought to Dallas ISD the long-range master plan. And we talked about this 3 years ago, probably almost 4 years ago now. And I told her, I said, if I win the election, I will advocate to bring a top-notch school. We will stick with your plan, and we're going to make sure we have a school and bring the best resources under one roof. And we have done that, and I'm excited about it. And I want to thank her for working with us. I want to thank her for pushing through, making sure things get done. Listen, our community is going to be excited about this. We're going to do another walkthrough because we want to make sure our senior citizens have the opportunity to see the work of the Lord and what we've done together here. But this does not stop here. We're going to continue to do great in our community. We're going to continue to do great with our kids. And when it came across to who to name the school after, when we saw the work that Mr. Black has done across the city, across the country, in the area where they want to push down strong black men. We have a strong black man that our young black boys, our young brown boys can see the work, and he's touchable. He's going to come here. He's been here, invested in our community, invested in our children. He just didn't start. He's been doing it. That's why we make sure that we put the right name on this building. So as I go to my seat, I want to thank you for trusting me. You gave a little preacher opportunity. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve you. Thank you for letting me be your trustee for 6 years. Thank you for working with me. We may not all agree on everything, but I promise you 2 things. You're going to know my why, and you're going to know my what. And today you see my why, and you understand my what. You see why I fight so hard for our kids. You see why I fight so hard for our community. This, again, is what building futures through education looks like. I want to thank you for allowing me to serve you. Thank you to the administration. Thank you to the school principal, who is an awesome school. We have an awesome school principal. We have an awesome assistant principal. An awesome staff. And what makes this so unique is I was the community liaison here before. I started an elementary drumline right here. So we've done a lot of work in our community prior to me being an elected official. And it don't stop. We're going to continue to grow, and grow. Because all we do is win, no matter what. Y'all have a great day. Thank you so much.
Well, the traffic on 75. I knew I should have left even sooner. And I know that Trustee Johnson probably already did this, and it's my fault for being late. But again, I would also like to take a moment to thank and ask all of the elected officials that are here with us today. Would you please stand? Because I see Judge, I see our DA, no, I don't know what Puzo anymore is. He serves us in so many roles, right? So just really appreciate you all. I want to give you all a well, I'm going to tell just a quick little story. When I was growing up, my mom was secretary, and she'd see what her bosses were doing with their kids. And whatever they were doing, she said, I got to figure out, if they're doing that for their kids, it must be something I should be doing for my kids. And so I bring that story because my mother worked an extra job, but not to keep the lights on. But she worked the extra job so I could take classes outside of school, like ballet. My sister got to take piano. I got to take tennis lessons. My sister learned to ride a horse. Equestrian. The development of vocabulary is really best met through experiences. And what we don't have is we don't have achievement gaps in our community. What we have are opportunity gaps. And so this is our district's way of partnering, of course, with leadership like the Board of Trustees and Trustee Johnson to be able to create a space that continues to give opportunities. And in this particular elementary, I think it's important to note that we're in an auditorium in an elementary school in South Dallas. And the reason I wanted to just tell that brief story about opportunities is because that's what the namesake of this school has been, all based about opportunities, Mr. Black. And knowing what I know about his rearing, I mean, it's an amazing story. We could not have a better person to inspire us, to inspire our children, frankly, to inspire all of us to be our best selves. And we thank you and Gwyneth and all the family for just allowing us to be able to do that. And I thank Trustee Johnson for bringing this forward. And he talked about how this kind of came about. And it was like, well, we really can't rebuild 2 schools brand new. And we had declining enrollment. But if we do bring 2 communities into one, what we better make sure of is they get an auditorium, they get a cafeteria and a gym, right? It's not a cafetorium. And I had a couple of other trustees in case anyone's here and they get a bright idea, there was a trustee who said, well, you gave Trustee Johnson an auditorium. And I said, first of all, we gave it to the community. I said, but to this trustee, I said, but if you want to tell me which two schools you want to pull together, no, that's okay, right? Because not everybody has what it takes to understand the challenges and turn them into opportunities. And so, you know, I want to tell just a little bit of the Dallas ISD alum, a Samuel High School graduate, Albert C. Black Jr., who I think still today looks like he could be an offensive lineman right now. I'm telling you. And so I remember reading and actually hearing a little bit from Mr. Black about when he was a young boy and borrowing a lawnmower at the age of, 9 or 10, starting mowing lawns for $2. Did I get that right? $2. And eventually became the first one to actually buy a powered mower. So if any of us were thinking a lawnmower, back then, they had to push them, right? Okay. So after graduating from Samuel High School, Mr. Black got his undergraduate degree and also got an MBA while founding On Target Supplies and Logistics that has so many logistics, distributions, and even then on to Ready to Work and opportunities, because we hear often, well, we want to employ them, but they're not ready. So we get them ready to work. That's what he does. That's what his family does. And then he also, at one point when he first started, he took a second job at Texas Utilities. And he kept that job for a decade until that logistics company could make it on its own. Talk about opportunities and turning those opportunities. And I cannot think of a better role model for students who will be studying and learning here. It's truly a privilege today, Mr. Black, to dedicate this school that will forever bear your name. And like this school, you are a beacon of hope and a model of excellence for all of us. And let us not forget that every school is made up of teachers and support staff. And any of the support staff that are here, I thank you. And specifically, I must shout out our principal, Sherry Zachary. Now, most people don't know that who hired you at this school, Ms. Zachary? That would be me. So, I'm just saying, I see talent, I know where it is, and I want to congratulate Principal Zachary and her team, the entire team here, for the perseverance and dedication in getting into this building. Because, woo! Let me tell you, I know we had a lot of conversation, and so again, thank you, Mr. Black, your entire family, Cora, Trey, Oliver, just being the kind of person that we can all rally around. And I really am thankful that I get to serve this community and want to give you my sincere dedication to continuing to make sure every one of our kids have all the opportunities that every kid has, regardless of their zip code. Thank you so much.
Georgia, born and raised. Martin Luther King Jr.
What's his name?
Leading, teaching his thing. Telling us about his dream. Taught us how to be a good team. Keep going. Just Bob. Keep going. Just Bob. Keep going. Just Bob. Keep going. Just Bob. Keep going. Now this is the story.
All about how our history got turned around. I take in the sit right here and tell about these who God is here.
This is the story.
All about how our history got turned around. I take in the sit right here and tell about these who God is here.
In Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised. Martin Luther King Jr.
What's his name?
Leading, teaching, doing
What
his
is name?
teaching the world all about his
Dream.
When a couple of people who were up to no
Good.
started doing marches in
The
they
neighborhood.
marched all day and they marched off until we earned our
Civil rights.
Martin taught us how to be up. He
Team.
wasn't asleep. He had a
Get dream.
that everyone all shades of color will come together
And love each other.
now this is the story.
All about how our history got turned around. Like 10 minutes, sit right here. Say by these who got here.
Now this is the story.
All about how our history got turned around. The sit right here. Say by these who got us here.
Hello, everyone. What a good day to be in the community of South Oak Cliff, the best zip code in Dallas, 75216, where I am born and raised in. Hello, if nobody knows me, I'm Minister Dominique Alexander, president of the Next Generation Action Network. I have the pleasure of serving as the District 5 Fund Advisory appointee under the leadership of Trustee Maxie Johnson. Y'all give him a hand. Also, I want to give respects to the entire Board of Trustees in their leadership, as well as Dr. Stephanie Elizalde. Y'all give her a hand as well. Also, and I want to make sure that I shout out all the construction, fund and construction department, Brent Alfred and his team and leadership. Y'all give them a hand. And I want to shout out our Fund Advisory Committee. I believe our chair, Drexel Owuza, is in the audience somewhere. Y'all definitely want to give. And Oliver, sure, Oliver Black is on that board too as well. You know. Y'all, this is an overjoyous occasion for me. I was a student of Woodrow Wilson Bushman Elementary School. My mother was a student of this school. My first job was at the Boys and Girls Club, right behind us. I grew up what we call the Oak Cliff Triangle. The Butterbeans, Village Oaks, and Royal Crest. The best for less. In every passion of the organization, since we founded the organization, we have always said that the Next Generation Action Network has to be, not the second, has to be the loudest voice when it comes to education. You couldn't just use the name. And I'm so grateful that we have an administration that collaborate and work with NGAN. I remember when we held these meetings about this school coming together. I want to thank Dr. Elizade for trusting us to hold those conversations. This was about a couple of months before COVID hit. A lot of the meetings were canceled because of COVID. But Trustee Johnson and Dr. Elizade didn't stop at that. They said, we're going to get this done. I remember telling people, how can we bring Elijah M. Peace and W.W. Bushman into the same school? I want people to know this. This is not two neighborhoods coming into one. This is one neighborhood. Finally coming together, our children getting the full resource that they deserve. I want to also thank and literally acknowledge Principal Zachary for her leadership during this time. It wasn't easy to yet say to teachers every day, hey, listen, you know, we're getting there. We're getting to the Taj Mahal. Thank you for your courage. But y'all, let me say this quick. I'm going to use the remainder of my time to talk about the man that we named this school after. I remember Trustee Johnson asked me, he said, what do we name it after? I said, nobody did, okay, nobody did. I'm serious, I'm just telling y'all the frank business. I remember I was able to, Trustee Johnson had just recently met Mr. Black. If y'all don't know Alpercy Black, y'all better know him after today. I remember being amazed. And let me say this quick, it's not a lot of men in this world that can just amaze me. And it is truly an honor. It's more of an honor just to fight for resources to come to the community that I'm born and raised in. I never wanted to be the leader that said, where somebody say, hey, he ain't never did nothing for where he come from. But when I met this man, y'all, I'm talking about, I won't even talk about the time when he had me in his backyard cooking, smoking these chickens for about 5 hours, and I listened to him the entire 5 hours. I think it was like 5 a.m. when I left his house. This is the tenacity of it. The family, I want to thank the Black family for just welcoming me in. And one of the greatest honor right now is to be in an institution that bears the name of a man that's from our community, Dallas, Texas. A story that is successful, that can relate with our students. While many of those stories are under attack, we make sure that that story is cemented in the legacy, in the history, and nobody cannot take that away. I want to also say to my friend, me and Trustee Maxie Johnson met in 2015 when I organized his son to walk out of Sappho Cliff High School. I also remember a couple of years later and saying, hey, I need you to run for school board. And he said, who, me? Yes, you. But I just want you to know that this is a man that literally, when it came to the community and their voice, he never shut the door. He delivered. I might not always agree with every doggone thing, but he delivered. And I just want you to say, as my friend is leaving the school board, I just want to tell him how proud I am to say that he's my friend, and your legacy will always be fermented in the Dallas ISD history books. And if anybody want to dispute that, I believe the bond representative can tell you probably about more than $400 million delivered to District 4 during the 6 years that he's been on the school board. And I don't give him a lot of accolades because it goes to his head, but I do want to thank him. Mr. Black, as I saw you and your family walked through this and held back tears. Just from another person that's just looking, and I'm trying to fight it. I hope that you were truly grateful today. I hope that we did half of what we could do to do this. You deserve it, and I hope that the generations to come of your children continue to know, and your children's children continue to know that how much of an awesome man you were. And to Mrs. Black, ooh, the anchor of the Black family, y'all. Y'all give it up for Mrs. Black. My grandmother always told me on the side of every great man there is a great. Y'all give it up for her. This is for me. Y'all give it up for her.
Good evening. I want to thank Minister Alexander for those words. I just want to take a moment to take it all in. This is always surreal for me, no matter how many times I do this. It's also kind of bittersweet, because I build buildings for a living, and you get to the end, and you hand off, and I look at these kids' faces, though, it makes it work. So I'm passing the baton to them today. So let me go into my prepared words. I don't want to get emotional up here. I want to start with, do you believe? That was the question that Kenny Double K Kirkland asked in the final moments of one of my favorite movies, Beach Street. It wasn't just about music or hip hop. It was a call to believe in something bigger, to believe in a movement, to believe in transformation, innovation, and the power of community. On Tuesday, February 28, 2023, at this very place, we gathered on this site to break ground on what was then just an idea. And now, 2 years and 2 weeks later, we gather again to celebrate and stand inside the reality of that vision. The new Albert C. Black STEAM Academy. And also to see what a $45 million investment in our children in this community's future looks like. And for that, I want to thank the Dallas voters for showing your support for the Dallas ISD and public education as a whole by approving 2 major bond propositions totaling $3.47 billion, the largest bond in the history of the state of Texas. A portion of the 2020 bond program called for the replacement of 16 existing schools, including a new home for the consolidated W.W. Bushman and Elijah M. Peace Elementary School. The new campus, named Albert C. Black STEAM Academy, is now home to over 800 young scholars. This space was designed to challenge and prepare students to lead, and that design wasn't created in isolation. It was shaped by the voices of this community. So as you walk the hallways and experience these spaces, understand you're seeing the community's vision for their school come to life. So let me take you back again to the charrettes. We gathered at churches, the architect's office, the Boys and Girls Club, and inside Peace Auditorium, where parents, teachers, and students came together to envision what this school should be. Those meetings weren't just discussions, they were the inspiration that guided us through the process. Together, we voted on the concept plan, choosing between the X design and the butterfly concept, ensuring that the layout of the school reflected not just the function, but also our aspiration. And we finally decided to give it the name the butterfly with its unique shape and spread out. So one of the most powerful moments in this process was when we sat down with Mr. Albert C. Black himself, and he talked about the importance of inclusion, opportunity, and equity. His vision led to the creation of the round table at the school's entrance, a symbol that everyone has a seat at the table. That table represents more than just furniture. It's a commitment to make sure every child who walks through these doors knows that their voice matters and that success is not reserved for a select few, but is possible for all. And at this point, I want to stop and give the team recognition, recognize the team that made this vision come to life. And I'm asking them to please stand when I call their names so they can be honored. First, our architects, HKS. You guys hosted several meetings for us in your office and really sketched our passion and inspiration, so I thank you guys for that. Next, we have our general contractors, Construction Zone of Texas. Please stand. These guys showed resilience and tenacity to overcome the challenges. We had plenty on this project, of course. Also, the glue who kept it together for us, our program manager, Nikita, for guiding every step of this process to completion and willing to step in and step up when we needed them. Thank you, guys. Of course, I have my DISD staff, Dorian Hasty, our contract manager, had oversight and put in many hours in. And to the workers, tradesmen, and craftsperson who contributed with the long hours and physical work to build this legacy, I say thank you. So let me turn to our students. This school is yours. It was built with you in mind to challenge you, inspire you, and prepare you for leadership. You are walking into a place where entrepreneurship, innovation, and creativity are embedded in the very foundation. And so I leave you with the words from Vernon Jordan, a business executive, civil rights attorney, and like Mr. Black, a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, Inc. Mr. Jordan said, "You are where you are today because you stand on somebody's shoulders. And wherever you are heading, you cannot get there by yourself. If you stand on the shoulders of others, you have a reciprocal responsibility to live your life so that others may stand on your shoulders. We exist temporarily through what we take, but we live forever through what we give." This school was built on the shoulders of a community that believes in you. Now it's your turn. So, at the end of Beach Street, Kenny wasn't just asking if people believed in music. He was asking if they believed in the future, in the movement, and in themselves. So I ask you again, do you believe? At this time, I want to ask Principal Zachary to come share the podium with me. On behalf of Dallas ISD, I want to give you the ceremonial key to your new home. She put up with many long hours from us. I appreciate it. Thank you.
While the babies are coming, I want to make one announcement that I forgot. We know this is a STEM school, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, but it's also going to have a focus on financial literacy.
course, it couldn't be an event without our South Oak Cliff Bears. So, thank you so much. Good evening. It is so good to see so many friends and family this evening for this momentous occasion, for this ribbon cutting to celebrate the opening of the Albert C. Black Elementary School. I want to thank you, Madam Superintendent, Dr. Elizalde. You have just been absolutely wonderful. The Honorable Trustee Maxie Johnson, this could not have happened without your leadership. Thank you so much. You know, there are some community leaders that come into our city from time to time that are real difference makers. People like Minister Dominique Alexander that made this, y'all, a passion project. So Dominique, thank you for everything, brother. I really appreciate it. I'd like to also take a moment to thank the women and men of On Target Supplies and Logistics. You guys have really provided our chairman a career of enterprise building for over 4 decades. Thank you so much. So everyone that's here from On Target Supplies and Logistics, please stand and be recognized. Please. You know, the work that the women and men have done for On Target, Ms. Georgie, Ms. Lorraine, you have certainly afforded Mr. Chairman the opportunity to commit so much of himself to service. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my dear mother, Gwyneth Black. You know, all this really could be possible without your love and grace, your courage, and commitment. Dad and our family. So thank you. Before I continue my remarks, I'd like to offer 2 quick disclaimers this evening, and they'll be brief here. But one, I'm going to be Baptist brief in my remarks, so just hold your seats. And this is not a eulogy. It's a commencement. And simply a brief pause in history to recognize one of our greatest champions. As I reflect upon this historic moment, I think, why are schools named after folks? What about those people make them worthy of such this distinct honor? And I tell you, my dad, my chairman, is legendary. He's a guy born in 1959, a mother who was a homemaker, a father who was a doorman at the Baker Hotel, that opened the doors for power. Opened doors for folks like the Citizens Council and the Dallas Regional Chamber of Commerce, and who my grandfather would reflect and say were the highway boys, folks like R.L. Thornton, people who ran this city. And he told these stories of what could actually be in this city, and they did it from a little neighborhood in sunny South Dallas, I'm Patty, on a landfill strategically surrounded by lead called Crater Court Housing Projects. Like so many here today, Dad came from what could be called a family that could be a bit chaotic, but loving. This chairman was blessed with a brilliant, quick wit, seemingly tailored for business success, and impactful civic engagement. Most here have heard about the humble beginnings and the lawn service that he and Ma started, Best Friends Lawn Service. I don't know, Dr. Elizalde. I don't know if he was 9 or 7 or 10, I don't know, but he was young. But there's another powerful story that I want you guys to hear. And it's somewhat fortuitous, but certainly appropriate for this occasion. As a youngster, around the age of these kiddos, maybe a little older, Dad gathered a few friends in the neighborhood and Fraser Courts to draft an amicus brief to argue for the integration of Dallas Independent School District. And I think that's so powerful because so many kids around that time could never even imagine someone like that being on a school like this. In so many ways, we're still battling with Judge Sanders' decision, but we're certainly a better city because of it. And today proves it. The hope of tomorrow is so bright because of the progress that has been made in so many areas of our community. Students with a knack for business or the arts, service, will be identified. They'll be further developed and nurtured as this beautiful STEAM Academy shows. We've come so far and we got so far to go. But you know what, y'all? It's happened before. You know, when Dad was a youngster, he got a call from the late, great Eric Johnson, who was a former mayor of this town, asking him to join the inaugural board of Park South YMCA. And that's so small it sounds, y'all. It's not big time. But it led to a legendary civic career of service. And every step of the way of his service, I want you to know that he always disturbed the status quo every step of the way. You know, people like Charles O'Neill, who's a legendary business leader in this town, they worked together at the Black Chamber of Commerce to make sure that businesses in this town and beyond that were historically excluded were included and could thrive in a city like ours and beyond. He went on to advise governors and presidents and serve on the boards of the Dallas Foundation and Dallas Institute. He went on to be molded by so many consequential business leaders in this town, and he coupled that with his own set of experiences and wisdom to move this city forward. And I think these kids need to know that, Ms. Pena. He went on to chair the Dallas Regional Chamber of Commerce. I see Jerry Toussaint in the house, who is the head of workforce and education at the chamber. Mr. Chairman literally served on every single fiduciary chairmanship role committee at the Chamber of Commerce and led that Chamber of Commerce as its first African American chair. And that's so important. That's so important. You know, the Dallas Morning News would say that Mr. Chairman was the best chair in the Chamber's history at that time. A time where chairman really had the gavel to do something, and he certainly did it. He went on to vice chair the Citizens Council. One of his passion projects was chairing Baylor Healthcare System, where he fought tirelessly to make sure that people that traditionally did not have access to health care had access. He went on to create the Diabetes Health and Wellness Institute and Fraser Court housing projects. He went on to help create the Charles Simmons Cancer Center. And you know, when I was younger, Mr. Chairman would get calls early in the morning, Cora. He would take calls all throughout the night because people needed help. People who traditionally were not given an opportunity to have the best health care in this city called Mr. Chairman because they needed a champion. You know, my mother served on the board of Dallas Housing Authority, and people forget that. She actually made the motion to tear down those projects I chaired. And so thank you for that. And so, you know, Dad kind of followed behind Mom and became the chairman of Dallas Housing Authority. And he really did challenge the Housing Authority to rethink, to transform what we traditionally thought of what affordable housing was in our dear city. And so, Mr. Chairman, thank you for your leadership. As I continue to reflect further on the impact of business leaders in this community, of civic leaders, there have been few that have dedicated their lives to education in the manner that Dad has. He has actually served as the superintendent and president of a school board, being Wilmer-Hutchins School District in sunny South Dallas. And I will tell you that those kiddos had an opportunity to succeed. They had an opportunity to find opportunity in a manner that maybe they wouldn't have had if it wasn't for your leadership. He went on to be on the advisory boards of the Cox School of Business at SMU, which is his alma mater. He served on the board of regents of Paul Quinn College, Texas Southern University. People like Anthony Lyons and Dad worked tirelessly to bring in hundreds of millions of dollars to Texas Southern and make sure that the law school created some of the best students, Lauren, in this state and in this country. He went on to St. Louis University, where he made sure that once again he disturbed the status quo and made sure that the community knew that we had to do better. We had to come together. We had to drive forward. And then he went on to my dear alma mater, Baylor University, Sydenham, where when I stepped on campus, I was met with a regent that was talking to our president in the business school, probably not the nicest, whatever, but Dad was a new regent on campus, and he made himself known in the Baylor Lariat. But he went into that school and he changed something. When I got on campus, it was about 2% African American. By the time I left, it was about 14% African American. He made sure that kids from zip codes like 75216 had an opportunity to go to Baylor, which had never happened before. And so I just want you to understand his commitment to service. Mr. Chairman has been an inspirational warrior and an unwavering advocate for progress, and not only our dear city, but the state and arguably the country. You know, guys, me and so many others have been beneficiaries of his courage to do what's right and to fight for what my great-grandmother would say, the other fellow. Me and my siblings have had an outstanding advantage. Oliver, Cora, now Olivia Vaughn, and JR, and Albert Curtis. We have an advantage of growing up with Mom and Dad, inspiring us to be civically engaged and do good in our communities. However, while also reminding us you do have to make a couple of dollars to make sure that you can optimize your impact in the way that you really want. But look, so many kids will walk these halls over the next several decades. Some may not have the advantage that we've had. But maybe they'll have an advantage by being inspired by the legendary story of the guy who this school is named after, who came from a similar neighborhood, with similar friends, similar family, but of even greater hopes, dreams, aspirations of entrepreneurship, civic engagement, and serving leadership to our city, our state, and our country, and have the honor, the unique honor of actually sharing their ideas with him in person. It's going to be an honor. You know, heroes and legends are developed over time. Not in brief moments of popularity, they affirm their standing through what they built, who they brought along, and the changes they've made in order to improve the lives of others. Have they been an inspiration? The next young Albert Black is walking these halls while being inspired by this incredible story about a legendary man who came from a similar background and may even look like them. And that's the beauty of it all. My dad is a man of faith. He has kept his family together in an incredible manner that you just don't see very often. Thank you. He has championed the health of this community. And he has invested and committed himself to wisdom. And he is simply the best man I've ever known. Without further ado, I want to introduce my dad, my friend, my fraternity brother, my mentor, my chairman, and my hero, Albert C. Blake Jr.
Albert Curtis, I want you to get it out your system. What is it that you want to say, son?
Well, I wouldn't
Leave the
say,
mic alone.
well, I wouldn't say anything just from my parents and my brother and dad that this is an amazing school and we are wholly proud of his work and creation. So I just want to say, everybody, thank you for this school.
You know, when you're forced to say, beat it, kid, I'm working this mic. No one asked Albert Curtis to come up here. We heard the music a few moments ago. Now, this is the story. This is the story. So I kind of like put my own rap lyrics to it. Now, this is a story about a wonderful wife. Then I say this. Trey says this is not a eulogy, it is a commencement. Again, I will come home with 2 briefcases full of work, letting you know that all our climbing gear are in those briefcases. And we got some climbing to do. You'll never hear me say I did it for my wife, I did it for my children. So many people say they work so hard so their children could do better. I did it for my wife so she could have a better life. I did it because I thought the people of Dallas, all of them, whether you lived in Highland Park or Fraser Court, needed a better deal. That if we could get to know, like, appreciate, and trust one another, we'd have a better city. There's been times over the last 20 years when we had that just about right. And it felt so good. But it goes to show you that if you don't remain diligent at all times, if you slip just a little bit, what can happen to you is things go back to where they were. That's where we are. And that's how I know that Trey is indeed right. This is the commencement. We have work to do. You know, we'll do that work with him, and I will do it with a great, ultra-supportive family. All that are represented here today. And so when I mentioned you, of the 7 of us, I want your clan to stand and remain standing until all of our family is there. It starts with Frank Oliver. My brother Frank Oliver was a wonderful man. He had great children, grandchildren. They're here today. Will the Frank Oliver clan please stand? There you go. You just stay right there. There's a whole lot of us. All 40,000 votes that I got during the last election. carried my family. You know, Francis Spade is in the house. Ricky and Trish, thank you. My sister Frances Spade was an excellent educator. We put her up there with anybody when it came to having students be the most that they could be. Oh, she did it in the classroom, but she also did it out on the football field with drill team people and cheerleaders. She was a change agent that came in and saw the Tigerettes and said, you have to go, we're the Purple Flash. And before it was over with, the Purple Flash was known all over the country. It was indeed worldwide. And then my sister Tony. Andren, Redren are two men that are doing outstanding work, carrying the torch in a manner that Tony is not ready to do right now. She'll be up and get it done after a while, but all of us have to take a break now and again. You know, you have Cherry, who's there every step of the way. Cherry, thank you. And you got Dickie. Thank you, Dickie. You know, everything we talked about so far is kind of rooted in business. It's 10 years old, and I'm in business in Fraser Courts, and we're taking this thing seriously. You know, business, you've got to be able to have good ideas. You've got to be able to have some sort of production method in mind. You've got to be able to have grit, but you need money too. I didn't have that. And so when we needed money, we were raising money for on-target supplies and logistics by then, and we turned to Patty and Chris. And you guys didn't let us down. Please stand up and let me thank you. Thank you for being that wonderful family. People have asked me, how can a man with your background succeed in the manner that you have? You're a rags to riches story. And I said, well, that's your story, but not mine. My story is a great richness of family that would not let me fail. Patty wants to know, how did you hide it if you were right? How did you hide that dyslexia? If you were hard to learn, we never knew you made great grades. Well, when every teacher in your elementary school knows your home phone number, when your sister is Frances Roberson, or Patty Black, or Tony Black, or Cherry Black, or Vicky Black, or Frank Oliver Jones, when you have a family like that precedes you, I don't care what disability you have, you're going to do fine or perish. Patty, I did just fine, and we're going to talk about that some more because we have an expert on dyslexia up here, and we're going to take advantage of our relationship with our superintendent. Thank y'all for standing. You know, when you're married good, it's just wonderful. I did that. I suggest to young men all the time, if you're going to get married, why don't you go home and spend time with your wife's people? If you're concerned with weight, maybe that's a little narrow. But if you are, take a look at the back of the mother's knees. Look at those elbows. Don't let Jenny Craig fool you. Go and see that family. Understand that family's temperament. That's what you're marrying. And as time moves on, the fact that you have married more than a wife but a family is going to become abundantly clear. And boy, did we do good in our family. Now we said during her eulogy, we said that Miss Mary, I guess the name of the eulogy was, Miss Mary was a humdinger. But I knew it. And it's all relative, isn't it, Gwinnett? Miss Mary, compared to my mother, was an angel. See, I knew the temperament that I was going to marry. I knew Miss Mary, and I knew Linda, and I knew Ida Ruth. I knew David. You know, I had it by the time that I was interested in Gwinnett, I had about maybe 110 fights with David. So I kind of understood where we stood. You know, as it relates to my sister, my brother, and COVID made me so much closer to Ida Ruth and Linda. It made me realize something. You're my big sisters. And I've worked all of this time, all of my adult life, I've worked to be your big brother. You're my big sisters. I've worked to be your big brother. I think I've delivered. I'm not sure. That means that we've got work to do. To the superintendent and to the trustees, I want to tell you that our family is about education. The matriarch of this family is here today. And Marguerite, will you please stand and let us applaud you? Marguerite is a teacher. Thank you, Marguerite. Everywhere I go and everything that I do in education in public schools, I talk about Marguerite Williams. And I get consideration that I wouldn't have normally had if it wasn't for you. Thank you so much. When Marguerite's children was in college, I followed them just like you follow a sports team. They were the most high-performing students. Princeton, you know, going to schools like Princeton. I didn't know where Princeton was. Somewhere in East Texas, I thought. You know, they were going to Stanford. Wow. You know what I mean? I said, wait, that's really something. And what they taught me was education could be more than what we were getting right there in public school at the time when I was considering colleges. You see, in 1970-71, the education stopped when the buses started rolling. Good education stopped. It yielded for chaos. And so many of us that started that 70-71 school year, we were educated at a deficit for the next 6 years until we graduated. But here's the good news. Many of those people that I went to Samuel High School with, that we got off the bus screaming and hollering as if it was a hand-to-hand knockout drag down every day. I know them as professionals now. People like Dale Tillery. Judge Dale Tillery, I know him. We certainly gave a lot of good consideration to Barefoot Sanders when we had a This Is Your Life ceremony. When Dale and I was able to tell Judge Sanders our experience on desegregation. It was a wonderful event, made possible by the best people that I could ever work with that organized it all, starting with Georgie. And Georgie may be somewhere running something now. There she is. Georgie, thank you. You know, people tell me all the time, I called your office, Mr. Black, and I needed to talk with you, but I wasn't able to get through. And I said, who did you talk to? The lady said her name was Georgie. I said, well, you're not going to have any better luck next time. I said, Georgie is a bulldog. You can't ask me to ask her to be a coach. So she's going to keep on screaming and screaming until she understands your sincerity, and then her screaming will turn to facilitation. I want to go back to Marion Wright. I looked to my right and I saw Lawrence, and I saw Carolina. And I know that Trey got it right. You're right. Lawrence had surgery when we were announcing that we were going to do this project about 3 years ago. He had just had hip surgery. And I walked up to him and said, Lawrence, you shouldn't be here. You should be home, resting, recuperating, convalescing. He said, are you kidding? I'm not going to miss an event with my grandson's name on it. My dear friend Errol Nye, my dear friend Denwood Freeman, my dear friend Peter Dyson, my dear friend James Pinion. I'm just mentioning some of the soldiers that I've been in the war with as we've worked to change Dallas, Texas. Freeman, David Gergen in his book, Eyewitness to Power, said that in studying 6 presidents that he worked for, he noticed one trait that those with character had, and that was the ability to maintain long-term friendships. You and I have been friends since I was 17 years old. You were my college roommate. You built the Diabetes Health and Wellness Institute as well as the Salmon Cancer Center and so many other facilities that I connected whatever I had to make work for others. I'll always love you for that leadership that you provided our football team, that ear that you provided me in that dorm room as we tried to work through issues. It wasn't homework. The issues may have been, how are we going to get that extra case of beer? Or how are we going to get put back on campus? Or Freeman was great. Janie came on and I was chairman a year later, and I put her on the audit committee as its chair. She says, Albert, I've only been here a year. You can't do that to me. You're putting me on the most responsible committee. You're asking me to chair this. I said, Janie, the audit committee is where all the problems come through. You're going to be the most powerful lady on this board. You're going to know who did what, when, where, why, and how. And that's going to propel your career in ways that you can't imagine. Well, that may have been a little dark of me to do that, but my name is Black, you know. My friend Errol Nye said, if you're going down a country road and you see a turtle on top of a fence post, you know it didn't get there by itself. I certainly didn't get where I am by myself. For Trustee Johnson, to our extraordinary superintendent, that all of us will do anything, we'll go to any mat we have to go to keep our superintendent and to make her feel like the most welcome, and I'd like to go further, the best compensated superintendent in the deal. We can't lose. We can't lose it. Thank you so much, Trustee Johnson. Thank you so much, Madam Superintendent. Thank you, Dominique Alexander. All of you guys have made me a believer in what can be done. You told me we could do this. Winnie and I laughed a couple of nights, thinking they're putting one on us, a spoon. But here we are. Here we are. I said, it's so much that we're going to be able to do with it, but I want to talk with our family and anybody else within earshot of this microphone. Perhaps they can get something from it too. This is a privilege that we have. It's an honor. We're being challenged. Things like the financial literacy plan, we're the one that pushed that because we thought children could come out of elementary school with the basics to have a good life going forward financially. If we're going to push that, we've got to make it work. It's not always going to work in the form of privileges and honors, though sometimes it's going to come with covenants that are restrictions. This is not an opportunity for people to come through the doors and roam the hall. It's because we've said this school is a part of the community. You're not welcome to come through those doors and roam the hall. Security is most important here. We're going to make sure the children are safe, secure first. We're not going to say that you can bring your reading and writing program here and we're going to take that reading and writing program. I have been volunteering in education for 40 years, and there has never been 3 years in a row that we've agreed on the same reading plan. Let the teachers teach. This privilege that we have doesn't come with a teaching certificate. It doesn't come with a superintendent's license. Even though I had those at one point, they're expired. They're expired, and you know what happened to the district, so those are my credentials. We don't even have the prerogative of young parents with their children in school here. We don't have that prerogative. If we want that prerogative, we're going to have to pay for it. And here's the way we do it. It's going to have to be earned. It needs to come from the most trustworthy and underutilized currencies I'm aware of. I think sincerity and kindness is something that will buy us consideration at this school. Let this school break out with kindness. Let's show the entire district that we can be the leadership and kindness, sincerity, as we go about building programs. It's got to be about walking the walk as we talk the talk. We've got to put our hands together and get things done. Gwinnett and I have some things planned. It's taken our family a long time to come up with this, and I haven't really kept them posted because they disqualified themselves in the first contest that I had. So if I don't get their advice from now on, I'm all right. But we went out to say we want to have foundational leadership external to the school. We want a foundation that will be, one part of it will be a land trust. That we can buy some of these vacant lots, and we can buy some of these lots out there that perhaps a knock on the door and an offer will do it. We'll bank that land. And then we'll begin to bring in organizations that I've worked with, like Baylor Scott & White. We'll be able to bring in DHA, previously known as Dallas Housing Authority. Or we're not talking about low cost housing exclusively. We're talking about housing that was made affordable because the Gwinnett Black Education Initiative made it possible for them to have the land, and therefore building costs came down. Now, don't get afraid of me when I say that. I'm not going to ask for your money now. We've got a lot of work to do. And Gwinnett and I have pledged to go through a gift that we'll do today with it's a small gift. And then we'll run through somewhere between $250,000 to $500,000 before he asks you for a dime. We'll put in governance that will stand up to any governance of a nonprofit anywhere. We're going to find the best people possible to be on this board. They're going to feel exclusive is because it's not going to be many of them. We're not going to have a big board, but it's going to be effective. And everybody is going to bring something with them. You know, when you call Madam Principal, when you call the office, and you say the pizza day is going to be Friday, can you help us? We're going to keep on saying no. We don't do pizzas. Well, what about donuts? No, we don't do donuts. Georgia is not going to change that script because I wrote it. But here's what we will do. I'm going to have Cora come up after a while. And what we're going to do is help in a way that you can buy your own pizza. You can buy your own donuts. And there will be no teacher in this school that have to buy supplies for their class. That's the immediate investment, Melvin. You know about that. Some investments have to come immediate. Some, as we form, we pay for things as we go with a budget in mind. We do strict reporting from day one, that's already started, as we work with our governance council and a state attorney. First class work costs a lot. And that's what Gwinnett and I are incurring. We're asking nobody to work pro bono because we want it right. And if you don't do it right, we won't recourse. We're going to have a wonderful, wonderful foundation. The Gwinnett Black Education Initiative. And you say, why didn't we assign it? Why didn't we assign it to just the elementary school? It's because we're going to have to track these students for the next 20 years. And therefore, it cannot just be bound by the activity of this school. We're going to track them. We're going to be there. If remedial support needs to take place, we're certainly going to be there for that. More and more schools and more school districts will be held accountable for not doing the job that their state constitution required them to do, and that is to educate the children. In Dallas, we don't have that problem. In Dallas, we have an advantage of an extraordinary board with people on it, like Maxie Johnson, the best superintendent that I've known in the history of our superintendent, and I've worked with them all. Some of them was good work, and some of it was work we should have taken outside. One in particular, we should have gone outside. We're going to get the good work done. That Gwinnett Black Education Initiative is a mouthful. The governor's attorney didn't like it and said, Albert, the better formed foundations and trusts now are not using names like that. So I sent out a survey on Black Family Chat to all the people in our family. And I said, name that foundation, name that trust. And all of them came back with names worse than I had. Ours was the last submission. It came in and I replied back, thank you. I always try to be nice to all of them. I thank you for nothing. And as they thought, we ended up with something that I thought would work for me and my bride. You see, we're seeking an advantage for these children. Everything that we've talked about, from listening to our principal, to hearing our trustee, to witnessing the brilliance of our superintendent, we've talked about an advantage. So this program will be tagged The Advantage. Now is not the time for me to say, mine is better than yours. Oh, it'll be the Winning Black Education Initiative, but that tagline will be, it'll be the advantage. And we'll always be working for that. At this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Ford to come up. And let's do something that will help the school immediately. Ms. Ford?
Well, hello, everyone. I disagree wholeheartedly with the pitch that went into Black Family Group Chat. I came out with some bangers, and we all know that. It's fine, though. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. But I really wanted to say, a lot of people in here know that Shirley Chisholm is one of my absolute idols. Yes. And one of her famous quotes is, "Service is the rent that we pay for the privilege of living on this earth." And if that statement is true, I'd say Winnie and Albert Black have done more than paid that rent. They've tipped even along the way. Now, of course, you all know that I don't have any children of my own, but I take the role of being Auntie Coco very seriously, to the point that I even have car seats in the back. And when I'm on dates, people say, "I thought you didn't have any kids. I thought you didn't have any kids." And I say, "Those are for my little muffins. Relax, relax. I'm not a liar. I'm simply the best auntie ever, okay?" That's it. But I have been able to see through Trey and Lauren, through Oliver and Dee Dee, what it means to advocate for your children and your children's education. I know what my parents did for me in attending the Hockaday School. Shout out to all my Daisies here. I know there's quite a few of us. And I absolutely am empowered by the feeling that the children that come out of Albert C. Black STEAM Elementary will have the same opportunities, afforded the same things that I did coming out of the Hockaday School. We know that organizations like the PTA matter. They bring together the hearts and hands that build the future. Strong PTAs thrive when they have three big things. One, dedicated and engaged people like Oliver Victor Black. Two, people with big imaginations paired with thoughtful plans. I don't know anybody that can execute a plan better than Trey Black. And let's be real, money. That's where I come in. You all are used to me calling your phones, hitting you up. Look, I know Whitney, Caressa, even from St. Louis, Missouri, gets my call saying, "Can I count on you for a donation?" I'm sure I saw Laura McKinnon here before. I know Judge Stacey Williams gets a lot of it. Listen. So that's what I'm really excited to do alongside of my siblings, is to take this even further for when Mom and Dad, it's time for y'all to step aside and let your legacy live out. So when it comes to the Gwinnett and Albert Black Education Initiative, that advantage, right? We need to make sure we line those pockets. So we're gonna put our money where our mouth is, but let's see. Oliver, is there something potentially under your seat? Is there maybe something under there that maybe you would live. Come on, live, yes. Live, come on. Let's see what this is. Let's see what it is. Yes. All right. Will you go? Yeah, will you come get that? I'll hold this one. All right. This is a check on behalf of the Black Family Capital Trust of $25,000 to get us started. All right. So all I can say now is let's do these kids proud. Let's do this legacy proud, and let's get to work for these babies. Thank you all.
Come on, let's put our hands together one more time. I just took over my program right now. I'm going to pass this through. Again, I want to say this before I leave. I'm going to have to get out. Two people I want to recognize before I leave. This vision did not start with Trustee Johnson. This vision started with Dr. Elizalde when she was chief of schools. And I told her this is the right vision. God bless me to win, and as I stated earlier, we will make this thing happen. But it's another young man that takes this fight along with us. His name is Never Called. He's always in the background working. And I want to recognize my racial equity appointee, Mr. Chris Lewis in the back. Chris, would you please stand? So when you see that hard conversation, that hard work that you see, it's just not Trustee Johnson. It's community leaders like him that's working behind the scenes to get things done for our community, our kids. So I want to appreciate him, and I'm going to ask him to come to the stage. I think we're going to be there. And I'm going to have to tip out y'all. Please don't think I'm being rude, but I got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. So, but I love Mr. Black. I love the Black family. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for being a strong Black leader that our kids can look up to, and a strong Black father. Thank you so much. They're going down so I can do a Christmas.
I would like to recognize our Albert C. Black Junior STEAM Academy staff. If you can please stand, we have a phenomenal team, teachers, counselors. I have the best assistant principals standing in the back. They are awesome. So I just want to say thank you to you all. You are a part of all of this. I do have some closing remarks. Thank you for being a part of the ribbon cutting ceremony. Today has been memorable. To our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Elizalde, and school leadership, Trustee Johnson, our school board, our entire school community and school partners, and all who lead and serve our schools, we say thank you. Mr. Black and family, thank you for your legacy. Our school will stand for years to come. I want to publicly thank my son and my parents who are sitting over there in the back for their support. They have been on this entire journey. To our amazing staff and school community, you are the heartbeat of this school. Your dedication, passion, and love for our children fill these halls with knowledge, joy, and purpose. Your commitment does not go unnoticed. You all bring the energy and the love every single day. To our students and families, enjoy your new school. May you walk through these doors with pride, knowing that this is a place where dreams are nurtured and futures are built. May you be blessed as you depart and have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you all for staying. We're going to cut the ribbon, and then we have cookies and water on your way home on your drive, okay? Thank you so much.
Don't get me started. Good to see you. Bye. Nice meeting you.
Oh, likewise. Let's see. Okay. So, take it easy.